I helped a lot of people through school, home, and abroad. The majority of them were young people who were willing to work hard and had no means. I never consider anything I have as mine. I am a steward, and God passes a lot of things through me. My prayer is to always be faithful to discern the rightful owners of what is channeled through me. I don't do anything for rewards. At the time, I was in a good place. I wasn't really in need of anything. And the people I helped weren't people that would help me later. In fact, I had to forcibly wean some of them off when it was time to stop because they wanted to stretch that chain of dependency. I had learned my lessons from painful experiences and didn't want to displace or replace God in their lives or to interfere with what God was doing in them. We must learn our limits even when we help others so we don't become God in their eyes, taking the place of the Almighty in their lives, because then they become dependent on us instead of on God. They begin to look to us instead of looking to God. And that is not only unhealthy for both parties, it is dangerous. That is what we do when we use what is given to us as we please or give out of emotions without clearing first with God, the giver. I try the best I can to be discerning and to allow God to show me how to dispense the resources He puts in my hands. Many years later, things happened and I found myself in a tight corner. Guess who God used to sustain me in that period of drought? One out of the so many I had paid their way through school reached out and offered to get me through that time. No, I didn't ask. I wasn't even looking. I was trusting God to make a way. And that was the way He chose to make for me at the time. I never even imagined it. But as they say, God works in mysterious ways, His wonders to perform. What goes around comes around. Never look down on anyone today because you have no idea where God is taking them. Bible said, cast your bread upon the waters because you have no idea which one will come back to sustain you when you have no more bread in your hands. In Genesis 13, when Abraham asked Lot to take the first pig so they could go their separate ways and maintain the bond of peace between them, and Lot chose Sodom and Gomorrah. It looked like such a good deal. It appeared like a really great place to settle down. Time happened and things proved to be more than they appear. Underneath the inviting lush vegetation was brewing incomprehensible and reprehensible evil. Beneath the good-looking city were ravaging wolves who cared for no one and nothing save their lustful appetite. They went after their pleasure day by day and were not sated. Why? Because evil never satisfies anyone, no matter how often you practice it, no matter how deep you go. It keeps reeling you into your ultimate destruction. Get your journal, please. Let's take the first question. What lustful appetites have you been feeding, hoping that someday you will satisfy it, then take a break or walk away? The reason why God pleads with us to shun evil is because there is no end to it, just the end of the person practicing it. Not until the day God's judgment wraps it all up and places that eternal sentence on it. Until then, those who go after evil, seeking satisfaction, will not find it, not even in the grave. Don't forget that what goes around comes around. The pet we feed today can become the monster that devours us tomorrow. Will you allow today to be the day of your salvation? The day you say enough is enough. I don't want to die in this. I don't want to die on this. May God help you as you turn your back on that habit and trust Him to lead you into the fullness of the freedom He purchased 2,000 years ago for us on the cross of Calvary. In our story today from Genesis 19, the men of Sodom and Gomorrah turned up at Lot's door that night to wreck the two strangers that showed up in their city. The two men, who unknown to them were God's angels, appeared to Lot as helpless travelers at risk, and to the people of the city as cheap prey. Lot had taken the two supposed helpless travelers home for safety. When the evil men from the city came for the two men, Lot pleaded all he could, but the evil guys wouldn't listen. He offered his very best, his two virgin daughters, and they couldn't care less. At his wit's end, he still didn't give up on the strangers he was trying to protect. He continued out there in that hopeless situation. Are you wondering what the two angels tucked safely in Lot's home were doing while the man was putting his life and his family at risk, thinking they were vulnerable, trying to save them from harm? At last, the vile men were done and would have no more of Lot and his pleas. They started pressing to take down whoever and whatever stood in the way of the prey they were targeting. Also, the angels were done waiting in patience. They reached out and drew Lot back into the house, then proceeded to unleash blindness upon the bloodthirsty crowd. The eyes of Lot and his family must have been like saucers as they stared at the men they had assumed all this while that they were providing for and protecting. The men weren't vulnerable after all. They weren't homeless, helpless, hopeless folks as they thought. Wow. Who are you guys? Revelation time. Dun, 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 dun. Finally, the two angels revealed not only who they were, but also why they were there. While attempting to help the helpless, Lot helped himself and his family. By trying to save strangers, Lot saved himself and his family. Whatever we sow is what we reap, if not immediately, but definitely sometime to come. Here's another question for your journal. What kind of seeds are you sowing? And how are you sowing them, even when the recipients of your grace appear helpless, homeless, and sometimes hopeless? You just never know. You can't tell people by their appearances. You can't treat people based on how they look. Every person is more than their appearances and are deserving of love and honor, irrespective of their looks and status in life. May these lessons keep us mindful and faithful in dispensing whatever God has put in our hands, especially with regards to the way we treat others, those we know and those we don't know, those who have and those who don't have, those that look good and those that appear helpless, hopeless, and homeless. No matter how they show up before our eyes, may we see in each person humans made in the image and likeness of God, deserving of love and honor. May we help cheerfully and not exploit the help we render to them. Even if we can't help them, may we not hurt them. May we reach out to those we can support and live peace with those we can't. May they see in us something that reminds them of how good and gracious our God is. Amen. Don't forget to subscribe and share this with family and friends. Be inspired. You are a star, and it's your time to shine.